Welcome. Today we're diving into the five major theoretical perspectives in psychology. These perspectives shape how psychologists understand human behavior and mental processes. Each offers a unique lens, from the depths of the unconscious mind to the influence of evolution. By exploring psychoanalytic, behavioral, cognitive, humanistic, and evolutionary perspectives, we'll see how each contributes to our understanding of why people think, feel, and act the way they do. Let's begin our journey by setting the stage for how these perspectives emerged and why they remain so influential in modern psychology. Before we explore each perspective, let's clarify what we mean by a theoretical perspective in psychology. Think of it as a framework or a set of guiding principles that help psychologists interpret behavior and mental processes. Just like different camera angles can reveal new details in a photograph, each perspective highlights unique aspects of the human mind. Understanding these frameworks helps us appreciate the complexity of psychological science and the diversity of approaches used to study the mind. Let's start with the psychoanalytic perspective, pioneered by Sigmund Freud in the late 19th century. Freud believed that much of our behavior is influenced by unconscious motives and early childhood experiences. According to this view, inner conflicts, desires, and fears shape our actions, often without us realizing it. The psychoanalytic approach introduced concepts like the id, ego, and superego, and emphasized the importance of dreams and childhood memories in understanding personality and mental health. Unconscious mind is a central concept in psychoanalytic theory. Freud suggested that our minds are like icebergs, with only a small portion visible above the surface. The vast majority of our thoughts, feelings, and memories remain hidden below, influencing our behavior in subtle ways. This perspective helps explain why we sometimes act in ways that surprise even ourselves, and why therapy often involves exploring past experiences and hidden emotion. Psychoanalytic therapy, also known as talk therapy, aims to bring unconscious thoughts and feelings to the surface. Through techniques like free association and dream analysis, therapists help individuals uncover hidden conflicts and gain insight into their behavior. While some aspects of Freud's theories have been debated, the psychoanalytic perspective laid the groundwork for modern psychotherapy and our understanding of mental health. Next, we move to the behavioral perspective, which focuses on observable behaviors rather than internal thoughts or feelings. Pioneered by psychologists like John Watson and B.F. Skinner, this approach argues that all behavior is learned through interactions with the environment. By studying how rewards and punishments shape actions, behavioral psychologists develop powerful techniques for changing behavior, both in the lab and in everyday life. One of the most famous concepts in behavioral psychology is classical conditioning, discovered by Ivan Pavlov. In his experiments with dogs, Pavlov showed how a neutral stimulus like a bell could become associated with food and trigger salivation. This process of learning through association explains many everyday behaviors, from phobias to preferences, and remains a cornerstone of behavioral science. Operant conditioning, developed by B.F. Skinner, is another key idea in the behavioral perspective. Here, behavior is shaped by consequences. Actions followed by rewards are more likely to be repeated, while those followed by punishment are less likely. This principle is used in everything from animal training to classroom management and helps explain how habits are formed and changed. Behavioral perspective has had a major impact on education, therapy, and even advertising. Techniques like positive reinforcement and behavior modification are widely used to encourage desirable actions and reduce unwanted ones. By focusing on observable outcomes, behaviorism provides practical tools for shaping behavior in a variety of settings. In the mid-20th century, psychologists began to realize that understanding behavior required looking beyond what could be seen. The cognitive perspective emerged, focusing on mental processes like thinking, memory, and problem-solving. This approach views the mind as an information processor, much like a computer, and explores how we perceive, remember, and make decisions. The information processing model is central to cognitive psychology. It suggests that our minds receive information, process it, store it, and retrieve it when needed, just like a computer. This model helps explain how we learn new skills, remember facts, and solve problems, and has influenced everything from education to artificial intelligence. Cognitive psychologists introduced the idea of schemas, mental frameworks that help us organize and interpret information. Schemas allow us to quickly make sense of new situations based on past experiences. For example, when you enter a restaurant, your schema for dining out guides your expectations and behavior. These mental maps are essential for navigating the world efficiently. Cognitive perspective has also shaped modern therapy. Cognitive behavioral therapy (CBT) helps people identify and change unhelpful thought patterns. By challenging negative beliefs and replacing them with more realistic ones, CBT has become one of the most effective treatments for anxiety, depression, and other mental health issues. Humanistic perspective emerged as a reaction to both psychoanalytic and behavioral approaches. Psychologists like Carl Rogers and Abraham Maslow emphasized the importance of free will, personal growth, and self-actualization. This perspective views people as inherently good and motivated to achieve their full potential, focusing on conscious experiences and individual choice. Abraham Maslow's hierarchy of needs is a key concept in humanistic psychology. He proposed that people are motivated by a series of needs, from basic survival to self-fulfillment. At the base are physiological needs like food and shelter, followed by safety, love and belonging, esteem, and finally self-actualization, the drive to become the best version of oneself. Carl Rogers developed person-centered therapy, a humanistic approach that emphasizes empathy, acceptance, and genuine understanding. In this therapy, the therapist provides a supportive environment, helping clients explore their feelings and make positive changes. The focus is on the individual's strengths and potential, rather than problems or diagnoses. While the humanistic perspective has inspired many, it's not without critics. Some argue that its focus on individual experience makes it difficult to study scientifically. Others point out that not everyone has the same opportunities for growth. Still, humanism's emphasis on personal meaning and potential has had a lasting impact on therapy, education, and even workplace culture. Evolutionary perspective looks at behavior through the lens of adaptation and survival. Inspired by Charles Darwin's theory of evolution, this approach suggests that many human behaviors have developed because they helped our ancestors survive and reproduce. Evolutionary psychologists study how traits like aggression, cooperation, and mate selection may have roots in our evolutionary past. Natural selection is a key concept in the evolutionary perspective. It explains how certain behaviors or traits become more common in a population if they increase the chances of survival or reproduction. For example, our preference for sweet foods may have helped early humans seek out energy-rich resources, while social cooperation improved group survival. Today, evolutionary psychology explores a wide range of topics, from parenting and attraction to fears and moral values. By examining how our minds and behaviors have been shaped by evolutionary pressures, this perspective offers insights into universal patterns and individual differences. It also sparks debates about nature versus nurture and the origins of human behavior. Now that we've explored each perspective, let's compare them. While the psychoanalytic approach focuses on the unconscious, behaviorism emphasizes learning from the environment. The cognitive perspective highlights mental processes, humanism centers on personal growth, and the evolutionary view looks at adaptation. Each offers valuable insights, and together, they create a richer understanding of human psychology. Modern psychologists often integrate ideas from multiple perspectives. For example, cognitive behavioral therapy combines cognitive and behavioral approaches to treat mental health issues. By drawing on the strengths of each perspective, psychologists can develop more effective theories and interventions tailored to the complexities of real-life behavior. Culture plays a significant role in shaping psychological perspectives. For instance, some cultures emphasize individual achievement, aligning with humanistic ideas, while others focus on community and social harmony. Understanding cultural context helps psychologists apply theories more effectively and appreciate the diversity of human experience. Although not one of the original five, the biological perspective is also important. It examines how genetics, brain structures, and hormones influence behavior. Advances in neuroscience have deepened our understanding of the biological basis of thoughts, emotions, and actions, complementing the other perspectives. The developmental perspective focuses on how people change and grow throughout life. It draws from all five major perspectives to understand how experiences, learning, and biology interact over time. This approach is especially important in fields like education, parenting, and aging. Social perspective examines how our thoughts, feelings, and behaviors are influenced by others. It explores topics like conformity, group dynamics, and social identity, often integrating ideas from behavioral, cognitive, and evolutionary psychology. This perspective helps explain why we act differently in groups and how social norms shape our actions. Terms psychodynamic and psychoanalytic are often used interchangeably, but there are differences. Psychoanalytic theory refers specifically to Freud's ideas, while psychodynamic approaches include later developments by other theorists. Both emphasize unconscious processes, but psychodynamic theories often focus more on relationships and social factors. Behavioral principles are widely used in education. Teachers use rewards, praise, and consequences to shape student behavior and encourage learning. Techniques like token economies and behavior contracts help create positive classroom environments and support student success. Cognitive science combines psychology, neuroscience, linguistics, and computer science to study the mind. Advances in brain imaging and artificial intelligence have expanded our understanding of how we think, learn, and remember. This interdisciplinary approach continues to shape the future of psychology. Humanistic principles are also applied in education. Teachers who adopt this approach focus on student choice, creativity, and emotional well-being. The goal is to create a supportive environment where students feel valued and motivated to reach their potential. Evolutionary perspective offers explanations for why we experience certain emotions. For example, fear may have evolved to protect us from danger, while love and attachment help ensure the survival of offspring. By understanding the evolutionary roots of emotions, psychologists gain insight into universal human experiences. Each perspective offers a different view of personality. Psychoanalytic theory emphasizes unconscious drives, behaviorism focuses on learned habits, cognitive psychology looks at thought patterns, humanism highlights self-concept, and evolutionary theory considers inherited traits. Together, these approaches provide a comprehensive understanding of what makes each person unique. Different perspectives also guide approaches to mental health. Psychoanalytic therapy explores unconscious conflicts, behavioral therapy changes actions, cognitive therapy addresses thought patterns, humanistic therapy focuses on personal growth, and evolutionary psychology considers adaptive functions. This diversity allows for personalized treatment and better outcomes. Each perspective uses different research methods. Behaviorists rely on experiments and observation. Cognitive psychologists use memory tests and brain scans. Humanists prefer interviews and case studies, and evolutionary psychologists analyze cross-cultural data. These varied methods enrich psychological research and lead to new discoveries. Each perspective has unique strengths. Psychoanalytic theory uncovers hidden motives. Behaviorism offers practical tools for change. Cognitive psychology explains complex thinking. Humanism inspires personal growth, and evolutionary psychology connects us to our past. Recognizing these strengths helps us appreciate the richness of psychological science. No perspective is perfect. Psychoanalytic theory can be hard to test scientifically. Behaviorism may overlook inner thoughts. Cognitive psychology sometimes ignores emotions. Humanism can be too optimistic, and evolutionary psychology faces challenges in proving its claims. Understanding these limitations encourages critical thinking and ongoing research. Imagine a person struggling with anxiety. A psychoanalytic therapist might explore childhood fears, a behaviorist would focus on learned responses, a cognitive therapist would address negative thoughts, a humanist would encourage self-acceptance, and an evolutionary psychologist might consider survival instincts. This example shows how each perspective offers valuable insights. Psychology continues to evolve, with new perspectives emerging and old ones adapting. Advances in technology, genetics, and global communication are shaping the future of psychological research and practice. By staying open to new ideas, psychologists can continue to deepen our understanding of the human mind. Today, psychology often overlaps with fields like medicine, education, business, and technology. Interdisciplinary approaches allow psychologists to tackle complex problems, from mental health to workplace productivity. By collaborating across fields, psychology continues to expand its impact on society. To recap, the 5 major theoretical perspectives, psychoanalytic, behavioral, cognitive, humanistic, and evolutionary, each offer unique insights into human behavior. By understanding their origins, strengths, and limitations, we gain a deeper appreciation for the complexity of the mind and the science of psychology. Understanding different perspectives is essential for students, professionals, and anyone interested in human behavior. These frameworks guide research, therapy, and everyday interactions, helping us make sense of ourselves and others. By learning about each perspective, we become better equipped to understand and support those around us. In practice, psychologists often use a blend of perspectives to address real-world problems. Whether working in schools, hospitals, or businesses, understanding multiple approaches allows for more flexible and effective solutions. This integrative mindset is one of psychology's greatest strengths. The study of psychology is ongoing, with new discoveries and theories emerging all the time. By staying curious and open-minded, we can continue to learn about ourselves and the world. Each perspective adds a piece to the puzzle, making psychology a dynamic and ever-evolving field. If you're interested in learning more, there are many resources available, from textbooks and online courses to podcasts and documentaries. Exploring different perspectives can deepen your understanding and spark new interests. Psychology is a vast field, and there's always more to discover. Thank you for joining this exploration of psychology's major theoretical perspectives. By understanding psychoanalytic, behavioral, cognitive, humanistic, and evolutionary approaches, we gain valuable tools for understanding ourselves and others. Remember, psychology is not just about theory, it's about people, growth, and the endless journey of discovery.